Yeah. We back at it again, man. We back. Y'all already know exactly what time it is. Back here to serve some more game on the ground for them hungry hounds who just got the pound and are ready for the next round, man. Hope everybody's had a good day today. It's a brand new week, Last week is behind us. This week is a brand new week. You gotta live in the present to live the life. If you ain't living in the present, then you ain't living life, man. You living in the past or the future, man. You can't live in either or. You gotta live in the present. Living in the future results in anxiety. Living in the past results in being anchored. What's done is done. In the past, you can't go back and change it. What is to come will come. Tomorrow has its own worries. Live in today. Live in the present. A lot of people get too worried about tomorrow and what tomorrow will bring. Man, don't worry about what tomorrow will bring. Worry about today. Today has its own problems, and tomorrow will have its own problems as well. But you won't know what those problems are until you reach tomorrow. But you can't reach tomorrow if you're too busy worried about tomorrow. You got to live through today first. You know, you got to live through today first. Otherwise, you ain't getting nowhere in life. You ain't getting nowhere in life if you live in the future or the past. But with that being said, man, I hope everybody's had a good day today. My day's been alright. My day's been pretty chill, pretty normal, average day in the regularly scheduled program. Not. I can't speak. Not nothing too crazy. Not anything too crazy. Just wake up, do what you're supposed to do before you do everything else you're supposed to do. I cannot speak, man. I cannot speak today. That caffeine really got me going crazy, man. I keep stuttering. My brain is moving faster than my mouth can move. I ain't worried about none of that right now. Yeah, man. But with that being said, let me know how your guys' day was down in the comments below. If you had a fun, interesting, entertaining, or productive day today, or if it's just a regular, average day like mine was. You just wake up, get to the grind, do what you're supposed to do, go home. That's pretty much what mine is. I'm still out here doing things that I got to take care of today. As you guys can see, I had to stop, take a break, so I can serve y'all some game. Uh, but yeah, man, also let me know where you guys are tapping in from so I can shout out your country, your state, or your city. I always thought it was interesting how we can all be in different parts of the world and still tap into the same program at the same time. Like, for instance, everybody who's watching this right now is in the car with me, but not really with me. You guys are, right now it's darker than the abyss out where I'm at, but where you guys could be, it could be brighter than the sun, but it's darker than the abyss on your screen because that's where I'm at. And we're all in this car together, whether you really think, whether you believe it or not. And I cannot speak, man. I cannot speak. Going crazy, man. This caffeine be having everything all messed up. But yeah, man, we about to get into this next topic here in just a minute. Um, what are we talking about today, actually? Man, if you guys are people who need constant noise all the time, if you need something playing constantly, or if you need a certain sound or whatever, then you're never going to be able to critically think about how to move around the next obstacle, the next problem, the next whatever the case may be. You know, if you got something wrong with your car that you need to fix, but you don't know how to fix it, and you got so much noise going around you, how are you supposed to figure out how to fix it? You know, all that noise just distracts you from thinking critically on how to fix the problem. Same thing in life, man. If there's a problem in life, if you got a problem in life, no matter what it is, you cannot sit there and figure out what the problem is, how to get it. Well, not what the problem is. You cannot sit there and figure out how to get around the problem if you have constant noise around you, because then you're gonna be focused. You're just gonna be constantly focused on the noise. You know, if you constantly focus on the noise, you ain't gonna get nowhere because you're stuck. You can't be stuck in life. You can't be stuck in a problem. You can't be stuck in the gutter. Otherwise, you will never be able to excel. You got to be able to excel. You got to propel yourself to excel. If you can't do that, then what are you really doing? What are you really here for? If you're trying to do what you're supposed to do in life and you cannot propel yourself to excel in what it is you're supposed to do in life, what are you really doing? You are just a leaf in the wind waiting to figure out where you're going to land next. And then once the wind blows again, you're going to blow away again and figure out where you're going to land next. That's the problem with people today is there's no motivation for them to do anything. They want to do everything that everybody else is doing. That's what they want to do. They want to do everything that everybody else is doing. They don't want to do what they're supposed to do. They want to do what the next person is doing because they think that what the next person is doing looks cool or is cool. They think it makes them look cool. But that's what that person is supposed to do. Everybody has their own assignment in life from birth to the end, to the deceasement. Everybody has their own assignment in life, whether you like it or not, whether you fulfill it or not. That's on you. But if you can't figure out how to overcome and get around certain obstacles in life and problems that reveal themselves in life, how can you expect yourself to? How can you expect to propel yourself and excel in life? You know, you can't. You can't, and that's what happens when you have constant noise around you. Why do y'all think that Jesus went off by himself a lot? You know, when he was with his disciples, to quiet places. You know, because he had to think. He was trying to think. He was trying to figure out the next move. You know, and he couldn't do that with all the bickering around with the bickering with the disciples and everybody laughing and carrying on and having a good time. Yeah, that's cool and all, but when you're the leader, when you are the leader of a family, of a group of people, whatever the case may be, you need solitude to think. You need peace and quiet to think. Otherwise, you will never be able to figure out, how do I get around this problem? You won't. You'll just be stuck. You know, and then the people behind you will be stuck too. Then they're gonna start thinking, this guy ain't doing nothing. You know, he ain't bringing us to greener pastures. He ain't leading us to greener pastures. He ain't doing nothing. You know, uh, then they're gonna start losing faith in your leadership abilities. They're gonna start doubting you. So as a man, when you have a problem, especially when you're married and you got your own family, you know, and you got life problems coming up that can and will affect not only you but your family as well, your kids, your wife, whatever the case may be. If you cannot figure out how to get around those problems, then your family gonna start doubting you. What good are you? Why can't you figure out how to do this? Why can't you figure out how to do that? You're a man. You're supposed to, you know, you can't figure out the problems. You cannot figure out the solutions to the problems if you got constant noise around you. That's why a lot of times, guys, when they're married or whatever, they got their own family going on. A lot of times they leave the house for a while. They leave the house so they can go think. They need to go think. It's not because they're getting tired of you or their kids. It's because they need to think, because they have a problem on their mind that they need to solve and overcome. They can't do that with all the noise that's around them. They need quiet. They need solitude to think. That's why they go on those long drives by themselves, so they can think, you know? Uh, and a lot of times when the girl asks them to go with them and they say no, it's not because they don't want you around them. It's because they need to think. You know, they need to be alone so they can think. How do I move around this problem? How do I do this? How do I do that? You know, if you don't give the man his space, he's gonna turn into to somebody that you don't like. You know, a man needs his space to think, to overcome problems and obstacles. If you don't give him that space, you're gonna get stuck. Next thing you know, that water's gonna start getting into that boat, and you're gonna start sinking slowly, slower, 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 slower. You're going more and more and more. You're gonna start sinking because you ain't giving that space to think. And a lot of times, people get mad when men go off by themselves to think, and and the females want to go with them. Just stay home. Give him his time to think. You got your solitude at the house when he at work, and the kids are at school or at daycare, whatever. He's at work. He needs his solitude so he can think. So whenever he leaves, don't go with him. Let him go by himself. Just understand, he ain't going to do nothing stupid. He's just going off so he can think. How do I overcome this problem? So quit trying to go with your man everywhere. You know, quit trying to be with him constantly all the time. Men need solitude to think. They need solitude to think, to survive. You know, they need time by themselves so they can talk to God and figure out, God, how do I get around this problem? What am I supposed to do? They can't hear his voice if they're too busy being around people who are yelling and screaming and laughing and carrying on. You know, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing all the time, but, you know, it's men need solitude to think. That's just how we are. You know, don't take it seriously. That's just how we're wired. Just like a female is wired to find a man who can protect and provide, we are wired to require solitude so we can think. That's just how it is. It's how we're made. So quit taking it personal. Quit taking it so personally and understand. he's going to figure out a problem in his head. And no, he's not going to tell you all his problems because you ain't going to solve his problems for him. He got to go off and figure out how to solve the problems. You ain't going to solve his problems for him. You know, he's supposed to solve your problems, but you can't solve his problems because his problems are bigger than your problems. And that's just how it is. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get up on out of here. I appreciate y'all, whoever's in here watching. You know, appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Make sure y'all share with your friends, your families, your mommies, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else that y'all know. And I'll be right back for the last episode over here tonight. Deuces.